We need to recognize that small business located where decisions are made closest to people are the best. You need to have congressmen that are working for those goals. Our society right now, we have way too much concentration of power in Washington. When you look at the number of employees that were added to the federal payroll the first quarter of this year, it was an embarrassment. It's the only growth. We need to cut back. We need to cut back on our federal employees. We need to have better technology in the federal government. We need to have a smaller government. And I happen to believe that the states are the primary engine for growth in this country. And the different models that different states have are what we need to be encouraging rather than discouraging.
Mr. Shedden.
We should not go past the 30 enumerated powers granted to the federal government by the U.S. Constitution. Our U.S. Constitution is not a suggestion. We should not go beyond that.
Mr. Reamersma?
I agree. I think what we need to have is limited constitutional government and recognize that you have those enumerated powers there, and we need to have congressmen strong enough to go down to Washington, D.C. and recognize our greatest document that we have seen in the world is the Constitution of the United States. And we need to recognize that we need to get back to that. And so anything contained outside or contained within that Constitution, we need to have congressmen that represent it at all costs.
Mr. Cooper.
I think earlier I referenced the Pledge to America. One of the items on the Pledge to America is number 2. That item is called the Enumerated Powers Act. Once again, you have to say we need to rein in federal spending, we need to rein in the size, scope, cost, and power of the federal government. How are you going to do it? Well, item number 2 on the Pledge to America is the Enumerated Powers Act. I didn't make this up. It was sponsored by a congressman named John Shattuck from Arizona. Originally, it was set up. He had, I think, 6 or 8 co-sponsors. Today, there are 69 co-sponsors of the Enumerated Powers Act. If we get our 35 to 40 freshman congressmen going into Washington next fall or next winter, that would be an additional 35 to 40 people, which would give us 110 people. The Enumerated Powers Act simply states that before Congress can enact any bill or legislation, they must attach to that bill or legislation by what constitutional right they have the authority to enact that bill or legislation. That would be the single best thing we can do in our country to rein in the federal government.
Mr. Larson.
Kind of echo what Ted said, is the Constitution is not a suggestion. It's there for a reason. We need to get back to review the Constitution. The biggest thing that I view is the undeclared wars we are currently fighting. Gentleman I served with is over in Afghanistan right now, so that reminds me every day of how Congress has veered off the path away from the Constitution.
Mr. Heisinger.
In the Vietnam War, they called it mission creep, and that's exactly what we found ourselves in. This is how we boiled that frog slowly, and suddenly we look around and we go, we're not sure how we got here, and we're not sure we like it, but we're not sure how we get out of it. I actually happen to know Mr. Shattuck. He was a very close personal friend of Congressman Ministra. He's actually running against John McCain in a very contentious primary. One of those things is this issue that he brought up. So I commend Bill for talking about that. We've got to abide by Article 9 and Article 10. And Article 9 and Article 10 of the Constitution outlines says any power that is not specifically enumerated in the federal government resides with the state or anybody? The people, exactly. And that's where it needs to be. It needs to reside with us, the people, or the state governments. And that is what we need to get back to. That is our roadmap. There's nothing mysterious about this. We just need to go back and realign our governments constitutionally. The federal government with the federal constitution, the state constitution, for the state business that we're doing, and all those things that happen locally. And I do believe it might actually be the second best document produced by being the first.
And finally, Senator Pepers.
Actually, what most people forget is that the Constitution probably wouldn't have been signed had it not been for the Bill of Rights. the founding fathers of the Constitution of this country believed that they needed a clear statement on where the powers lie. And the powers, in their estimation, lie in the states. I believe the states were created to be and should be incubators of innovation. I don't believe that federal policy can treat all states equally, because not all states are the same. Each is made up of a different population of people who have different needs and different desires. I actually am the one person up here who's introduced legislation at the state level to pull back some of the power that the federal government has taken from us. I introduced a bill allowing the state to collect the federal gas tax. And rather than sending it to Washington and begging for our 92.6 cents back, we would actually keep it here and send Washington a penny on the dollar. That way we wouldn't have to jump through their hoops. We could actually fix the roads and problems that needed to be addressed in the state of Michigan.
Thank you all. It's getting near the end of the evening. I'm sure you can all stay here forever, but these gentlemen are working all day, every day. So I'm going to wrap it up by giving them an opportunity to just make a short summary, a minute or two, of anything they wish to mention. Before they do, I just want to say, as a Republican, I am very pleased with the panel we have and the candidates we have, because I know we're going to have an outstanding candidate to follow up Mr. Holmstrom. And I've been involved in campaigns all my adult life, and I will tell you that you have no idea what these people have invested in their efforts to serve us. Nobody can go in this as a career move because he wants to make money or because it's a nice plush job to have. It is a terrible thing to run for office, and if you're elected, and to some extent, you're a loser. We're going to start the final summary, minute or two each. We'll start with Mr. Reamer.
Well, thank you. I just want to, again, echo the sentiments that we had up here. It's been an honor and a privilege to get to know the 2nd Congressional District over the last several months. The people of the 2nd Congressional District, I can tell you that there, again, is a level of engagement, involvement in this campaign that is encouraging to see. A lot of people that want to elect the right guy. And so I just want to encourage you all this evening to visit votejr.com. We just recently unleashed our 5 for Freedom, which is kind of our policy positions that I think will put us, the 2nd Congressional District back on the map. And I would just encourage you to kind of check out, do your due diligence over the next 2 weeks. Make sure that the candidate that you believe can best hit the ground running in terms of having a national stage and a spotlight, as well as having Washington, D.C. experience with my work at Family Research Council. Just check out votejr.com. I'd love to have your sacred vote August 3rd, and I will work my tail off to make that happen during the next 2 weeks. Thanks for your time.
Mr. Cooper?
I think that obviously we're all trying to contrast ourselves, but my contrast is what I said earlier. I'm the only person on this stage that's actually created hundreds of West Michigan jobs and lived with the consequences of every decision I've ever made. I'm confident that that's a really important message in 2010, and a lot of people really believe that because there are a lot of people co-opting that message. I should probably leave that out. And I had one of my staffers said the other day, there are a couple people in this race that chicken suits were polling well in 2010. I got a couple candidates might be buying a new wardrobe. But I think that it's really important to recognize. It takes a while to digest. But, I didn't poll what I am. I am what you see sitting here. My record speaks for itself. I think it's really important that we elect somebody who's had to slug it out in the private sector. There are certain things that people in small business know that we deal with every day. When I meet with small business people throughout this district, that they just shake their heads and they say, these people in Lansing and Washington don't have any idea what we deal with in this state. We've had the largest loss of jobs and population of any other state in the United States over the last 9 years, and many of those people that have left are people that feel that they can go into another state and be more productive or successful somewhere else. I think that until we start electing people to represent us that have been accountable for every decision they've made, we are going to end up with the same results. Thank you very much.